My new book, Facts That Aren't True, is out now. Don't forget about my other book, Rational Answers to Stupid Questions. Click the link in the description now.
I think evolution's false. It's not true.
Oh.
There's problems with it, or it's not science. Yeah, I know. You laugh now, but wait till you argue completely with me, and then you may realize that you're wrong about it.
I doubt it because this will be the 100th time I've had this conversation.
But I know a lot of religious people like argue with it, and it's not the right way. Is what I do. Okay, so what I like to do is ask you like define me what evolution is precisely as a scientific theory.
Change over time.
Just that.
That's literally what evolution is. Now,
Okay.
what are the implications of it? Like general relativity is just that matter attracts matter, right? The implications of general relativity, what was found in the equations, is that things like black holes exist. Nowhere the theory of general relativity does not state black holes exist. That's not what it states. Okay, evolution is just the factual observed phenomena that like allele frequencies change over time. That change, biological change, occurs over time. The implication for that is over vast stretches of time, groups, populations of organisms become so different as to be completely different species at a later point.
Okay, fair. Here's the thing. That's what you're claiming, right?
Yeah,
So,
and there's an unthinkably large amount of evidence to back it up.
oh no, this is where we want to go critical on. But what I want to next ask you is, what is science exactly?
An empirical methodological system
Yes,
for observe.
empirical evidence. Right,
So
empirical evidence.
you didn't want an answer, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. No, I just wanted. I did want an answer. I just wanted to point out what science is. I mean, we both know what it is apparently because you said it, right?
Yep.
So, what I want to next point out is that science is by the steps, right?
No.
To proceed into a scientific theory. Yes, it is.
No.
Well,
Sometimes
why?
observations are. If you're trying to say that if it can't be repeated, experimented, and verified or whatever, then it's not science. That's completely false.
Scientific method.
Mere observations count as science. For example, if you wanted to study animal behavior, you would not capture a bunch of. You wouldn't do that in a zoo. You could, but your methodology. Anybody with a brain would realize that your methodology is almost certainly flawed because they act completely differently in captivity. Like, for example, that's where the myth of the alpha wolf comes from. Wolves don't actually behave that way in nature. So what you would just want to do is make like observations in nature. It wouldn't necessarily be a like controlled experiment. Now you make predictions and then you go and look for evidence consistent with it. So that part of it is sort of basically true. But the other implication in this is if you can't make it happen yourself, then that doesn't count as like repeat observations. That's completely false because a hypothesis can be predicated on events that have already occurred. And then what would the evidence for those be? The
No.
exact same way you would solve a murder. No murder happens in a future tense. They happen in the past tense. But nobody, including you, thinks that we can't reasonably conclude that a murder has taken place if we have sufficient
Oh,
evidence. And that's
no,
exactly the
no,
same way it
that's not
works with
how it
evolution.
works. That's not how it works, and I'll
It's
explain why.
100% how it works.
Can I explain, or are you just gonna keep making claims without
I'm
letting me
I'm just
explain?
well, yeah, you can make your case. I'm not saying you're not allowed to talk, but you are wrong. So go ahead.
Okay, so science, when it was made, historically, it was by I believe it was like, was it Aristotle or it was like this
Jesus
Greek
fucking
philosopher,
Christ.
right?
No.
No, I want you to understand the empirical. You mentioned empirical.
Then
That's
maybe you should
exactly
read literally
the
any
purpose.
book so you don't say something as stupid as Aristotle invented science.